Hey guys, welcome back. We are in the middle of adding some features and fleshing out our budget app. So that's what we're going to keep on doing. Let's cut over to the browser. So here we are. Right now we've still got the ability to add income streams and add expenses. We also have the ability to switch between budgets now. This go button doesn't actually do anything. We'll probably get rid of that. And now we need to complete these delete button actions over here, and I guess still add up the totals, which we still haven't done. So let's go and do that. So we'll start in the API this time, and let's start by creating two new actions. So right now we have these add income streams. We're going to just copy this for now, and we're going to, instead of adding an income stream, we're going to delete an income stream. So I'm copying the code we used for add income stream, and we're just going to modify it for our needs. So this is going to be delete income stream. This is going to actually, this is going to have an income stream ID here. Oops. Let's see if we can get rid of this request. I don't think we're going to need that at all, for now at least. Income stream. Let's update our PHP doc. And I'm kind of showing you guys how it is to work at full speed right now, or mostly full speed. It's probably a little slower since I'm talking. But I want to give you guys the thought process behind how professional programmers work, so that you can see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. If you're learning how to program, I want you to see just how easy it becomes once you get a good grip on what you're doing. So we need this, I think. Don't need any of this. And all we need to do, we're not going to do any kind of validation to make sure that this income stream actually exists. We're just going to delete it. So we have our budget here. Oh, and we want to change our method here, our HTTP method, to delete, because we're deleting this resource. It's going to return a JSON response, I think. Let's go see what else is available to us. If we can just return a 200, that would be okay with me. What extends this? We have go to, I don't know if that will work, but no. Where's our JSON response here? It extends response. Yeah, I want to find other things that extend response if we can. There we go. Default response. No, there's no response for just 200. So maybe it's just, maybe our response is just that. We need to import this class, and it's going to be this HTTP foundation response. Does this take any arguments? It takes content, and it takes a status. So no content. Status is going to be, and we saw these status codes right here. So we're going to return response. We want this response HTTP 200 for OK once it's deleted. So response. So returning status code 200 for success. Let's look at our budget object, and our income streams here. Cascade persists, so it's going to create an income stream for us, but we need to be able to delete one. So let's add a function I suppose we could just leave the income streams floating in space forever. We don't necessarily need to clean them up. We can kind of leave them. So let's add methods to remove expenses and income streams. Remove expense. And I guess, should we do that? We might not have to do this. Let's see if we can just, we might not need to add that method at all. We might be able to do, let's see, I think we need the expense repository here. And let's see, let's look up how we remove an entity in Doctrine. Remove entity by ID, Doctrine. Okay, so it looks like you can delete on a proxy object which is not loaded from the database. Just create a dummy object, something like this. So we're going to do work with lazy loading and don't show the prompts the object shows. So do something like this. So we can use this kind of method to remove our expense by ID. So this would actually be an expense, or sorry, I guess income stream ID. Working on delete income stream right now. I don't even think we need to look up the budget. So let's see. Budget. We don't need this. We're not deleting a user, we're deleting a budget, so we'll name our variable budget, or sorry, income stream. Entity manager we have. So it looks like this is all we need to do. So this doesn't actually call a query if I'm correct. I think this just basically says delete this income stream by this ID. It's going to get a reference, but it's not going to go and fetch the income stream down because we don't want that extra query that would happen if we did that. We don't have a parameter called budget ID anymore. We also don't have that. Put a space there to make that nicer. So yeah, so if you send a delete right there, if we send a delete to income stream right there, we should expect that the income stream should be deleted. So let's see if we can implement this on the front end now, and let's see how that works. And then if this works, we'll just copy this delete income stream method and modify it to delete expenses real fast. So we are in the front end code base now, and we're going to go to budget, and we're going to make another API call. So we want to, let's see, implement a new method called delete income stream. That's going to take an event. It's going to be a click event, most likely. We're going to need to prevent the default action so that when we click, like, a form isn't submitted or anything, probably. Oh, I don't think that's in a form, so maybe we don't need to do that. Delete income stream is going to request, it's going to send a delete request to that endpoint that we just saw, and so we'll go copy it from our API controller, and we're going to put the configured API host, which is set in our configuration. This is going to point at our local host port 3000 in this instance. And that might just be it. I'm trying to think. It looks like we don't need anything here. I'm not sure what the method signature is this. We want to, let's see, we need to find out how to do a delete request. No, I'm not spelling delete right. Callback. Form data. Not quite sure what the method signature is for this delete method. I think, after looking over the docs real quick, that it's like this. And the function takes error, HTTP responsive body. Maybe. Go back to WebStorm, sorry I got lost. Error, HTTP response, body, maybe. Let's just put a debugger there and see what happens. After we delete it, we're going to want to reload the budget again. And that load budget comes from our object here. We just have to define a local variable for the load budget, because load budget will be inaccessible from in this callback. Right, so let's put a debugger there. No, we don't need a debugger. So now we have our method, our function that's going to delete the income stream when we call it. Now we just need to go, oh, we're gonna need an ID for this, aren't we? This gets it from the event. Well, we'll see. We don't know how to pass this this income stream ID in just yet, but we'll find out. So let's look for those delete buttons. Part of our, yeah. So these are this is our income stream component here, and we want to add an on click, and that would be this. I guess we need to pass a prop to our budget income stream component. So we're going to pass a function into this component that deletes the income stream. So we need to call, let's say const delete button press equals this dot props. So we're going to pass props that contain this delete button request, and all this component needs to know is that whenever it's clicked, just call delete button press here, and that should do it. So now we need to go look and see where this is called from. So our props here, we're passing, it looks like we're passing the entire income stream, but then we also need to pass delete button press, and we can set that to, so let's actually, can we do that? Maybe that's valid. Delete button press is going to be equal to, so X is an income stream, and we know X has an ID, I think. So I think for that, delete button press is going to be equal to delete income stream and x.id. X is the income stream here. I don't like that we named that X before, actually, so I'm going to change that to income stream. I'm also going to change this X to expense while we're here, because it wasn't very clear. So delete income stream is right here, and that needs to be bound somehow. I don't think this may or may not be what we want it to be. Yikes. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be able to keep the correct this context for this. But delete income stream, we need to turn it into a function that returns a function, because it's going to take an income stream ID. We're going to create a function that returns a function now. So we're going to pass the first function, the outer function, an income stream ID, and that's how we're going to get the income stream ID inside of our inner function here. So when we first call it, it creates this function right here, the inner function, and with the context, it's going to have this income stream ID here. That is called a closure, if you guys want to look into that. So we've got here, I think now's as good a time as any to test this. Let's give it a shot. Let's see if it compiles first of all. It did. And then we're going to go to budget 6, and let's delete scratch cards because we don't gamble. Okay, that didn't work. I'm not sure why it didn't work, but it definitely didn't work. So let's see what this looks like. I'm thinking, did we add that to the expense on accident? Let's see. Budget income stream. Interesting. Debugger. Let's throw a debugger in our budget income stream component so we can see what's going on. Let's see what this.props looks like. This.props. We do have a function here for delete button press. But let's see if we're actually, oh, we did. It looks like we sent a delete request. We need to look at the format of our income stream here. Oh, if you look, key is actually 11 here. So let's go, we need to add ID as part of our response of both our income stream. So when we get the income streams, which we get from the get budget action, right now we have key, but we also want an ID field. And that might have been the only thing we didn't get right that time. So let's reload. Hit budget 6. Delete the scratch card, and it worked. Look, just like that. So we deleted, it returned to 200, and our scratch card's gone. So let's go back to budget 5, back to budget 6. Scratch card is still gone. So let's go rinse and repeat for the expenses section now, so we can delete expenses, and then that will be ready to commit. So we have this delete income stream method, and we're going to rename that. We're going to rename that delete expense. This is going to be expense ID. Going to change the URI to expense/expense ID, and where we're going to find a usage of this delete income stream, and we're going to do, okay, so we're going to rinse and repeat what we did here for the income stream. So we're going to include all the properties of the expense, and then we are also going to add a delete button press. That does this dot delete expense, expense.id, and we're going to go to our budget expense, and we are going to literally just copy and paste this in here, and this is also completely reused. We're going to get rid of this debugger code, and we go to our API, look for our delete income stream, sorry, and we are going to duplicate that delete expense. Of course, every instance of income stream here is going to become expense now, and as well as this budget expense delete expense of expense ID. This is the name of the route. Expense ID is the argument we're passing in. Delete expense is correct. We're going to create a reference to an expense by ID and remove that expense, and flush, which persists everything to the database. It goes to the database and actually runs SQL queries that will remove the expense. So I think we might be good already. Let's try and delete cat food. We don't have a cat here, we have a dog. Hey, we can delete expenses here. I don't really track tea or hamburgers or popcorn or hot dogs or any of that, honestly. Cool. So those delete endpoints are working. Now there might be something we can do to make this a little bit more responsive. Do you see, I don't know if you can tell over the video, but when we click on this delete button here, it takes a second before we see a response. And that's not really desirable for us or somebody using the app. So let's make it so that this delete button deletes this record immediately and runs the delete query to our API in the background, so that there's zero latency for our users. So it's called responsive. It's responsive because as soon as the user hits the delete button, they see this record deleted from their view. So this is going to be all front end, and we're going to go to our delete income stream and delete income expense methods, and let's see here. We have the income stream ID, so what we want to do is call this.setState, and I think our state contains an array called income streams. It does. So we can do const income streams with removed with deleted income stream removed. This is a long variable name, but it tells whoever's reading the source code exactly what's going on. We're going to take the current income streams and remove the one that we've deleted, so that current array will be the same, except it won't have the deleted income stream removed, or it will have the deleted income stream removed from it. So that's going to be equal to this.state.incomestreams.filter, and because this line's so long, I'm going to break right there. This state income streams filter. So for every income stream, we're going to say we can keep the income stream. Sorry, we'll just keep this real simple. If income stream.id does not equal income stream ID, so that means income stream ID. So this right here means that any income stream that does not have this ID passes the filter, so it can stay. You heading out?
Yeah.
Good luck. Love you too.
Bye. Good luck on everything.
Thanks. Yeah, so there is this is the income stream with deleted income stream removed. And now what we're going to do is set the state income streams to income stream with deleted income stream removed, and that should make it so that our template updates just about immediately. So let's go take a look. Delete an income stream, and now it's gone immediately. It fetches in the background. I think that's a lot better. So we're going to do the same thing for expenses. We're going to copy this. Maybe just a little better spacing here. I want to keep our code beautiful so people that read our code understand what's going on. And we're going to just, it's going to be really easy, we're just going to replace every occurrence of instance of income stream with expense, and same with capital income stream, capital camel streams. So that's going to be expense. Let's see if that worked by itself. I think it did. It's going to be close. Let's delete that. Boom. Instant feedback. And if we confirm real quick that, yeah, there's only one expense here. So same with that. Another thing we can do is now that we're taking care of deleting that from the front end ourselves, we actually can get rid of this load budget API call. So that will make our make it so we don't have to use so many resources on the API. We don't need a call to reload the budget every time because we handle deleting expenses. So income 1, 3, whatever. That deletes, and we don't need to make a call to budget, which is nice. So yeah, so we've kind of optimized, we've made our budget more responsive. This is great. We can go ahead and commit this up. What did we change in our package JSON? Oh, yeah, I had to do that. So let's just make sure we didn't add any like debugging code. So what do we do? So we added a delete button press prop to our income stream and our expense components, and called that function. That would be a function that we passed in, and we call that function when that delete button's clicked. We created two functions, one for deleting income streams and one for deleting expenses, that just make calls to our API to delete the income streams and expenses, and they also update our state after they've removed the income stream or expense from the appropriate array. And then we pass those methods down as props to our income stream and expense components. So everything looks good. We've gone over our source. Let's add it. And this GD and GA, by the way, are just aliases I've made. So you can see, like, I have aliases for different git commands, so I don't have to type. That's kind of lazy, but instead of typing git diff, I can just type GD. I have another alias for logs, which is actually kind of cool. Git log, it creates a really pretty git log, and you'll see once we have more commits how useful this becomes, because the git logs can be kind of hard to scan through by default. So you can just look up like better git log alias or something, and you'll find some that are similar. So we're going to commit, and we're going to say add ability to remove income streams and expenses. That took hardly any time at all, which is great. Let's go ahead and check out, or go to our API and push up those changes as well. What did we do? All we did, we added a new, we had to import this response object because we use it here to send our OK response. We have delete income stream and delete expense, and we're including the ID here. So we added two new controllers, one for deleting income streams, one for deleting expenses. That looks good. Let's commit that with the same message as we just used for the front end, because it describes perfectly what we did. Okay, So I guess we're going to move on to the next obvious feature. Well, first we're going to get rid of this go button because it doesn't do anything, and it is bothering me that it's even there. It's kind of confusing. Maybe makes people think they need to click on the button. We also don't need this form anymore. We decided we don't need a form. So now we don't have that button, and it's everything is better in the world. Cool. So next thing we need to do, the next obvious thing we need to be able to do is, well, we still don't have the ability to create budgets, do we? I don't know if I'm going to add the ability to delete budgets just yet. But we also need to do this this total section here, so maybe we'll go ahead and do that. I think it's time. Yeah, it's definitely time. So what we're going to do is we're going to total this all on the back end and then present it on the front end. So this is going to be pretty simple. We're not going to need to, I don't think, change anything with our database or doctrine entities. Instead, we're just going to add everything up as part, or actually I guess we will change that. This is probably the easiest way to do. Probably we can just create this a function on the budget called public function get leftover, and that's going to return, so total expenses, or sorry, total, let's see, total income streams, and this is going to return the total amount, or the combined amount of all income streams. And this, then we'll also create a function called total expenses, and that, and I'm adding comments here to make it easier to remember what's going on, return the combined amount of all expenses. So this is going to be pretty simple. We're going to do, it's a reduce, so we're going to take all of our income streams and we're going to return an integer. So let's put a return flag on there, or not an integer, probably like a double, oh no, it's an int in this case, because we store all of our money as cents, I think, and I might be wrong, but that was the intention originally. Let's check out our database real quick. My money manager show, or select all from expenses, expense. Oh, we are, yeah, it looks, oh no, we're storing it as dollars, which isn't right. That's unfortunate, but it's not really a big deal. We can recover. So we're storing, we were planning on storing everything in pennies because we don't want fractional values. It confuses everything, but that's okay. So to get the total income streams, the total income stream, the total amount of income stream in cents, the total amount of income, I guess, in cents, and this will be the total amount of expenses in cents. So we're going to pretend like these values and expense here are in pennies. Maybe we'll just do an update query here. Update expense set amount equals amount times 100. I don't know if that works. Where ID equals 1. Hey, that worked. So now we're going to do it where ID does not equal 1. So now we've just converted all of our expenses to pennies, which is going to be easier to do math in. Let's do the same thing for income stream. And we don't need this where. We're going to need to change that on the back end, or the front end too, to use pennies for everything and kind of format things that way. So our total income streams are going to add all the cents. Each of our income streams has an amount in cents now, and we're going to do a reduce. So we're going to take all of our income streams, or I guess we could call it get income streams. That's what we're going to reduce, and it takes a function, and a reduce function takes an accumulator usually, and let's see, it takes an array, a function. We're going to need to look at the docs for this most likely, but then this would be probably, one of them is going to be an income stream. Let's take a look at the docs for array reduce, see if there's any usages in here. Of course there's not, but we can go look, and it says it takes a callable. Let's see. So sum, yeah, it takes carry and item. So sometimes accumulators call the carry, I guess. So carry is going to, I think we can set that to equal 0 by default, maybe. Carry is going to carry the total value of cents. So we can call it total cents maybe. And then we're just going to return total cents plus income stream get amount. And that may or may not, depending on if we did this right, which I don't know, return the total number of cents for all income streams. So reduce takes every single item in this income streams array, and it flattens it into one value using this. The total cents is going to be what eventually becomes the is that value that it's flattening into. So it starts out as 0, and this array reduce iterates over each of the income streams right here, and for each individual income stream it adds the amount onto the total cents, and then it returns that, and that's what gets passed on as the next total cents. So I don't want to spend too much time explaining reduce. If you guys want to look at that, if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's important, especially in functional programming. But yeah, so let's see if that worked, and if it did, we will repeat for, oops, I got an error in here somewhere. We'll repeat for our total income streams. So let's go in here. Our get budget action, we're going to want to include, if I had to guess, a total income, and that's going to be budget, which we already have. Right, do we have a budget? We do. What do we have here? Show me something. It's pretty weird. I don't know why it's oh, we've got this oh, I see. This is our mock right here that we have. I don't think we need this anymore. This mock is never going to get called. So the get budget action is actually a lot simpler than it just looked. What we need is total income here, and we're going to set that to budget now. Get total, get income. No, it's just called total income streams. And we'll do, okay, yeah. Let's see if that works. We're just going to pop in here real quick, and we're going to notice that everything got multiplied by 100 for now, but we'll fix that. Let's just take a look at our response and see. Okay, total income. It does look like that totaled that up correctly. So that's good. Next thing is, let's just copy that to total expenses. we already have our method here, placeholder get total get expenses, and it's going to loop over each of those, and instead of being an income stream, this time it's going to be an expense. And that does it. So get leftover is really easy. It's going to be return total expenses, or this total expense or income streams minus total expenses. And let's go add those to our controller. Total expenses, total expenses, total left over. I'll just call it leftover for now. I don't know. Yeah. So I think that's going to work just fine. Let's see. So far we've been pretty lucky with things just working. Yeah. And it looks like it did. It looks like we actually are spending more than we make, so that's kind of a problem. We're going to have to fix that in our budget. But, so now that those work, I think we're going to have to, let's see. We're going to have to make sure that we handle cents properly. So on the back end, I'm trying to think, we should probably, the front end should think that everything is in dollars. So we should probably convert them to cents. Should we convert them to cents on the back end or the front end? That's kind of tricky. I feel like the front end is mostly for presentation purposes, and it's not really our source of truth. It's more like presentation. So if we decided to add another currency, I think we would want to handle everything on the back end. So, that's kind of tricky actually. I think we're going to think about that later. I think for now what we'll do is we'll create a function here, a private function, since no one else is going to use it just for now. Function called convert currency for presentation. And what this is going to do, we store currency as the base unit. Right now, we only have US cents or pennies. Convert this so that the API consumer, which for us is our front-end React app, convert this to a localized format for the API consumer. So for that, in that case, usually in the United States, money is expressed in dollars and not cents. So especially with more expensive things, with higher priced items. So all this is we take amount or base amount, and then we'll say currency, and if currency equals does Symfony have a currency, I wonder? It does. What I'm trying to see if we have a constant for US dollars or something like that. We have, these are all JSON files. I want to find a PHP one. Interesting. Let's see if Symfony has a currency. Let's see what currency type looks like. Override choice loader. Currency bundle, get currency names. I like this. Where we need to go to implementations of this, I guess. Get names. Wow. This is data provider for currency related data. Like, we would have to implement all this stuff. I think for now we're going to just say, so we're going to say currency is USD. We're not going to have a constant for that just yet. Yeah, what we'll do is just add a constant here at the top for constant currency USD. We're only supporting USD right now. I want to add this currency constant here because eventually we'll probably add like a library for currency or something, since we won't want to only support USD. So if currency equals currency USD, then we return base amount, which would be in pennies, times 100, or no, sorry, divided by 100, and that would get us our dollar amount. Otherwise, we're going to throw an exception, maybe an invalid argument exception. No, we'll just throw an exception. I guess a new exception, is that what we do? New exception, unsupported currency. Unsupported currency. Unsupported currency. Currency. And then I think we need to add that. We need to import that again. And nope, I guess that's it. Oh, concatenation PHP is dot. Right, so for all our value, for all our amounts that we're returning, we want to convert from the convert currency for presentation. We want to multiply our pennies or divide our pennies by 100 to make them dollars for presentation. So all our totals are going to use this function, and you know, this doesn't need to be a member function. It's not. Let's just include this function up here for now, if that's possible. And instead of saying self, we need to point to budget controller, and we're going to, let's see if that works. Required parameter currency, of course, self currency USD. Right. So we're going to do that here and here. And self currency USD. Undefined function, convert currency for presentation. We're going to do that for each of our expenses, and our income streams when they come down. What else do we need to convert? We're going to need to convert it the other way around as well. Let's see. I think that's all on the way in. Now we need to do it, we need to do the opposite. We need to convert we don't need docs, but we have a pretty good docs for now. We'll leave that undocumented. We'll write better docs later. Function convert presentation currency to base currency. We're just going to take presentation amount and a currency. And that converts from presentation currency. Right now we only have US dollars. To base currency, which is pennies in this instance. And we're going to basically do the same thing here. We only have USD right now, and that's going to be presentation amount times 100 to make it pennies. Otherwise I throw an exception. So that's going to be on the way in. So we don't need that for delete. Delete doesn't have anything to do with the amount. In this case, amount is going to be convert presentation currency to base currency. That's the amount, currency USD. And we can copy that to right here where we're doing amount, and then also right here we're gonna need something. We're gonna need to just take, let's see, well, no, not really. Convert currency, convert presentation currency to base currency, self. Yeah, so there, we're gonna do that. And then we also need that for our expense here. I think that just about covers it. So now when we create budgets or create income streams or expenses, we're converting that into pennies before we save it, and we are, which is the base unit of the US currency, the US dollar currency, and then we're also doing the same on the way out. We're converting pennies to dollars. So let's go take a look. We should still be able to run the front end, and now we should actually see our value in dollars again, and we see that here. Let's take a look at our totals. Our totals are looking good. Those are in dollars. I wonder, I'm not sure if this will work or not. Let's try and add something with pennies in it. It might work. I don't know. Let's say we have expense for Cholula. I don't think we're spelling that right. But let's say that's $5.98. Create. Wow, it did. It added the expense. That's pretty cool. With the pennies and everything. Delete that. We obviously don't keep track of our Cholula expense. So now we have we just need to present our total here. That total is a placeholder. So let's go and add that in. So we go to our budget component. So we're gonna have our total. This is gonna be, let's see, leftover total. Oops, we're in PHP Storm. We need to be here. So this is gonna be just. Let's go look at. We're gonna want in here total leftover, total expenses, total income, and that's gonna. Those are all gonna be, I guess, empty strings for now. I mean, what? No, they are. We're gonna put them at 0 maybe. Really, they'd be undefined, but this case never actually happens, I think. So total leftover, total expenses, total income. Did we get those names right? Total income, total expense, I think total expenses, total leftover, maybe. Total leftover, total expenses, total income. Yeah. And now we just need to we need to add total, I guess this dot props dot total leftover. Let's see. Should be some big negative value or something like that, right? No, it did not work. Let's see. Total leftovers right there. Oh, is that it might be a state thing. Yeah, it's a state thing. Not a prop. State. Duh. Alright, there we go. There's our total, 195, and we want to format that in currency using whatever helper we use here, which is, we use numeral. How does format currency called? Yeah, okay. So we're going to call format currency on it. And then that will be good. Leftover total. I think we can add our total expense and total income stream. Total expense and total income stream under here, here and here. So let's do that. That should go, let's see, we probably want it the same format. Oh, you know what we forgot to take into account is income stream frequency. So let's real quick go back and do the income stream frequency calculation. So right now we see our leftover is 195. Well, that's because we forgot to multiply our paycheck by 2. I was wondering why it was so bad, and that is why. So what we need to do is when we're tallying our total income streams, we need to go here and add total cents plus income stream get amount times income stream get frequency, and that should total things up a little better for us. So let's just reload our budget here, and yes, there we go, we have leftover. That's good. We're looking good, guys, looking pretty good. Let's add total income and total expenses now. So that, I guess our row would go here, and it takes 4 columns. The first being total expenses, and then the second looks like it's an amount. Yeah, it was. Second is the amount right here. So that's going to be this, well, it's going to be format currency, this dot state dot total expenses. And we're going to copy this column. So I think what we're going to do, so I think we're going to have to change this so that our we get that extra padding line. We want to check to see, let's check real quick here what's going on. I keep getting this wrong for whatever reason, some muscle memory there. Let's go here and see how this looks. So we have our income stream. What did we just do? We did expenses, and we did change this. All right, so let's change it back and just see what's going on here. We're on 6, and if we add okay, so see, we want the expense to always be in a solid one, so we need to fix this so that we're checking to see if the row is odd or whatever. We want it to be, we want to add that extra row. Yeah, so there, now we have another. Is it weird? Yeah, so now this will always be in a dark border. Is it weird that our input is below the total? I feel like it should probably be above the total. I feel like it should be right after the list of expenses. So we're actually going to keep this the way it was, and we're gonna add total expenses right here. Oh, this is weird, huh? Maybe that was right. What are we doing? What are we doing, guys? Okay, we want this input field above our total. And I think we want our total to be the one. That's what we care about being dark now, because we want the last element in our form to be dark. Let's see if we did it right. Total expenses is dark now. A1, and if we add another one, it stays dark, and if we add another one, it pushes it down with that. Cool. So our expenses is good. Let's do the same thing now with our income streams. Let's just take this total row here, copy it and paste it here. Total income. And this now goes below. Oh no, wait a second. The form is gonna go. Alright, take a look. We want the form to be at the end of the expenses, so yeah, that goes right there. We check to make sure that's not equal to 0 instead, and we might be good now. Let's see. See what it looks like. Do we have total income, and is it correct? Yes, it is. And can we add a new income stream? Mo money. No problems. Let's say we get that 8 times. That looks like it worked. Nice. That's a weird expense. Delete it. And our total income stayed in the dark column. Looks like we can now create, delete both income streams and expenses. It totals them both. And it also tallies everything up. Now I think I want to put these total income, total expenses down here at the bottom also, just so you can look at the totals at a glance. So let's call this totals, and duplicate this. So we'll call this income, expenses, and we just have to total income here, total expenses, and let's see what that looks like. Oh, I left an R there. That's not good. And also, it's not doing the every other line format thing that we like. Why is that? We need to figure out why, so I'll show you what I'm bitching about over here. See that this line should be white here. Every other line should be white, right? I think. Unless we wanted to format this differently for this, but I don't think we do. Weird. Well, yeah, we're gonna fix that. So let's take a look at our CSS file and figure out how that gets that style. Yeah, it looks like every other. Oh no, we need to find TR, nth child, even. So we do have TRs there, right? Table rows. I don't know why this, why is this complaining here? Oh, they're all THs, that's why. Yeah. This is really, these are all not THs, these are table cells. I'm going to select all these, make those TDs. Damn, darn. And we're going to make these also. See if that looks better, and it does. I want the first one though. I want the first one to be the dark one. Oh, I guess we add a. I guess we just add a blank table row here. I don't know. That's fine for now, I guess. So now at a glance, we can come down here, look at our totals. Yay, we can see that we have $4,200 a month in income. Expenses are $2,500. And our total is $1,691. Our total leftover, I guess. Maybe we should call that leftover. Right, so this is a working budget app now. I think we can't create budgets yet. That is, I suppose, the one thing that we're not able to do. Yeah. Make sure that we handle cents properly. Oops. Trying to figure out if I should keep streaming or not. Yeah, I guess we can go. I guess we can keep going. Let's push through. Let's add a feature to create a budget. And it's going to be real simple, I think. We already have an endpoint to create a budget. And our endpoint's honestly more complicated than we need. We'll probably trim it down. I don't think we want to handle, well, here it is. Here's our endpoint. It's called Save Budget. And I would rather it was called Create Budget, really. It's not going to be, yeah. We're going to call it Create Budget. No, we'll call it Save Budget. Maybe. Yeah, we'll allow people to pass in income streams, I guess. Post body income streams. If that's not defined, though, maybe I'll just make them define it. I don't know. Yeah, we can use the save budget action here. Yeah, so it should be pretty simple. We're gonna need to, though, add a name to a budget. And that's something we don't have yet. So let's go ahead and do that. We do that. So right now, budget has an ID, income streams, and expenses. We are going to now add a name. That's going to be a string. It's not going to have her be an ID, I guess. Or have an automatically generated value. This name, we're just going to add a getter. And I suppose a setter. Those are both going to be... No, it's not going to have a return value at all. It's going to return void. Name. And this returns this name, right? The function name is pretty self-explanatory. I don't think we need a PHP doc for that. When we create a budget, do we even have, we don't have a constructor, do we? Oh yeah, we do, but it's pretty simple. It's basic. We don't need to implement it. So this save budget action, we just need to add a set name, post body name. And that should just about do it as far as our that goes. I think one issue is that I feel like if income streams isn't there, let's see. What is let's see what happens if we try to access a property that's not there. So let's say if we pushed up create a new budget, but we didn't include the income streams or expenses array, what would happen? So I'm going to open up a quick terminal here, and we can just run PHP A to get a PHP console, and let's create a new array, and let's just have be it's an associative array. So income streams equals an array, but let's just say that's it. We don't set expenses. So R at income streams, that's going to return an array. Oh, we're going to have to do that, huh? But what happens if we try to get R at expenses? Undefined variable expenses in PHP shellcode. It's not a variable, that's pretty weird. Undefined index expenses. It prints out a notice, so let's say array key exists, print R expenses. Oops. So expenses did not exist, but PHP is kind of weird sometimes. I don't like the REPL, if this is even a REPL, I don't know. Yeah, so I guess we need to check and see if that exists. Yeah. Let's see, PHP get value from array, associative array or default. I wonder if there's a function. So is there a better way for getting a default value by key from array? So no, not really. Looks like we have to, there's nothing native. So I guess we're gonna just do this. When we take these income streams, we're going to see if is set post body income streams. Oh no, wait. Post body at income streams. Then we do, oh wait, this is PHP, so our ternary is a little different. Otherwise, so this way it's saying if we have income streams on our request, then use income streams, use post body income streams. But if we don't, just use an empty array, and that will make it so that, and we'll do the same thing for expenses. That will make it so that we don't accidentally try to get a property of the array that doesn't actually exist. Name we're going to force to exist. So we'll see how this works. Do we have any errors over here? It doesn't look like it. Let's go and implement that on the front end. We need to create a new form. Let's see, in our app, and we'll create, let's see, so that's going to be a form, and we're going to need to call, onSubmit's going to have something, but it's just going to have an input type of text, let's see how we did this for our expenses, our expense income form. So we see this change new expense name. So this is how we created our input for expenses. So we're going to just do the same thing when we're creating an input for our new budget name. New budget name, new budget name, change new budget name. We can say create new budget, and that needs to have a button, or I guess just a submit button. What do we do here? Button on click. This, okay, yeah. Oh, did we not even use a form here? Guess not. Guess we did not use a form. Guess that's all right. This create budget. Create budget. Yep, that looks good. We don't need a form. Let's see what that looks like. I think we might need a line break right here. Oh, doesn't work. So I guess we need to implement all these methods. So let's do, so this state, new budget name, we're going to have to add into here, set that to an empty string. This change budget name needs to be implemented, so I think that gets an event, if I'm right. Let's take a look at our budget to see how the event.target.value. So this is what the event.target.value is going to be equal to the value of that text field, new budget name. All right, so what we call it. There it is. I don't think we need that bind to this. I don't know why it would, but create potentially would. Oh no, because we need this set state, yeah, of course. Okay, so we're going to implement this create budget, and that is going to need, it's going to need to send a post request. Pretty simple post request, but let's copy this here. We're going to want to return a new promise. We're going to send a request to, I mean really it's a post. I think that's how we did it, right? Request.post, and then the URL, and then the form is the second argument to that post. So it's going to be the endpoint we're going to post to, and then it's going to be the form, which is just a name for now. That's new budget name, or I guess really that's part of the state. So const new budget name equals this dot state dot new budget, or sorry, just this dot state. Put that in there, new budget name. And then at the end we were going to want to probably do active budget ID. We want to set the active budget ID to that newly created budget, if we're returning that, which it looks like we are. Looks like we are. I think what we're actually going to want to do is when we post, I think we're going to want to return that whole resource. So let's just see how this works now. It's going to work. All right, new budget. Oh, no, it's not. This is an app.js on line 54. It's complaining. So what I'm thinking is that our probably we broke something on the back end because it's complaining. Yeah, we need to run our database migration, of course. So if you remember, that was doctrine schema update force. So let's just take a look and see what the SQL looks like first. So this won't run the query. It's just going to say, once we run this doctrine schema update with the force flag, it's going to run this query. So that looks good. So execute it, and now we should have that working just fine. So let's see if we can create a new budget named Bob. So that didn't quite work. No route found for post budgets. So, well, yeah, that's because we don't have one. We need to call it post budget, actually. Post budget. And maybe that's what we have there. Bob. No. Did we break it again already? No route found. Forget budget. Uh-oh. I think we changed something. Oh yeah. That should be budgets, but when we create the new budget, we want that to be /budget. Bob did not create. An exception occurred while executing insert into budget. Values to do with params null. Column name cannot be null, it says. I mean, could be, some of them are nullable, but yeah. So post body name. We're gonna need to figure out what's going on in the back end here, I guess. We could set up xdebug, but I don't want to. Let's just let's return our post body, maybe. It says we're setting up a form. Let's see. So we need to figure out why name is null in this case. Let's take a look at the request first of all. Oh, it doesn't look like we sent up any arguments with our, is that the right request? Doesn't look like we sent up a new budget name. So this new budget name I think we're just not passing it up appropriately. So let's figure out why we're not seeing budget name being sent up to our server. This.state looks like this. New budget name is Bob. There's no doubt about that. And then our post, we're not doing the post properly. That's I think. So form name, new income stream name. So we don't have that there, but we should have new budget name. And then this should be form name. But for whatever reason we're not seeing. Yeah, form data is not getting passed in, that is for sure. So we need to figure out how we send a post function. Maybe so we'll just leave this so we're copying it from the income stream section just to see if we can get this to work. Something's just slightly off. It's hard to see, but something is off nevertheless. Does that work? No, it's not working. Let's take a look at the request library here. Post, optional callback. Interesting. Can also stream a file to put or post. That's not what we want though. Key value, that should be it, right? Request post. And we're importing the same request here. I'm not sure what's going on. URL, let's try that, huh? Oops, not there though. Our app.js. So these guys recommend sending requests .post, and then this would be, oh, did we call request.post in the last spot? Yeah, we did. Say hypothetically we passed in this format here, which is what they're doing here. So the first argument to this request post, they do a URL and then the form data or whatever. Still gonna be the same, huh? Maybe we can't. I just want to see that we're passing anything up at this point. It's kind of weird that we're not. Request.post is not working. 404 is better. So the URL's changing just fine, but it doesn't want to take our form data. Let's see what happens if we do this the longhand way. Except we want, not sure if that wants to be form or data, but let's see. So now we're doing request with these options. Let's see if that works. It's not working. Did we pass anything? No. I'm pretty sure I've seen this also be called data. Oh, did that work? No way. That was a post to budget and it worked. I guess you just have to keep trying again. Select all from budget. Yeah. And we don't have a new budget, but at least we were able to post to it. Oddly enough. Save budget action. See what's going on here. We're going to copy that as curl and just see if we're getting any response back. I also kind of want to go and see if we can add ink streams or expenses. This is pretty weird. Okay, so maybe it wasn't successful. We're sending a post to budget. Tail the logs and see what we have here. Name cannot be null. It's not taking the name. That is annoying. But yeah, I mean, we've had so many problems with this request library. We had problems with this request library earlier in this this playlist also, by the way. npm request post example. Samples. Post. Look at that. OAuth. This says form data. Oh, just form, I guess. JSON true. Don't know. Try this, I guess. Try the example from the official site. Just use it to our needs. Maybe it's that we don't have this JSON flag in our current setup. So yeah, we'll keep it out of the promise. We don't need a promise, so we'll just try and no, we don't need that. Let's see if that works. Oh, blew up. Of course, it doesn't want to take any arguments. Let's see if we can even add an expense. And of course we can. I want to try a different browser now, which is sad, but gotta do what you gotta do. Develop. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something. It's definitely something with our implementation of this post request. Right here, import it. I mean, this has a name just like this. I don't know. Let's add something. We have this event prevent default here. I don't know. I'm almost sure it's not necessary, but never hurts to try to make that work. And this is our endpoint. And our form just takes the new name, which is right here. Let's just hard code the name. Honestly, we don't need to deal with any more variables. We'll also send this up just for fun, and we'll leave this here, and then we'll just whatever, you know, whatever. Okay, this is really weird. I don't understand why it's not sending out those arguments, because when we add one here, that post request, we can't see the arguments here either, I guess. That's weird. Maybe Chrome's just not showing us what we're sending out for some reason. Let's see what's going on in our backend. Request. Add income stream. Request get content. Content is being used how here with empty content. This request, maybe we're not doing this right. Maybe we're supposed to be doing this. Maybe. What if that was it the whole time? What if we were doing... Because we're not sending it up as JSON, that's true. We are sending it up as a form. We really want to send it up as JSON though. And I wonder... if that's not our issue. Yeah, it might be our implementation on the back end here. We use the same format as adding expense, so Let's try this instead. Let's copy that. And if that works, then that's great. Otherwise, we return no request body. And content gets used. Oh, it doesn't really get used. We use request get. Post body. Request get content should be JSON to code. Oops. Let's see what happens if we try and resend this. Got some old version of Chrome, it's annoying actually. We got an internal server error, so we're definitely getting a body, but it's not what kind of body, it's not what we want, and I think that is because maybe we're not sending the correct header. Or it's like form data, but we want it to be JSON. Headers except well, here's the deal. We're going to get rid of this part entirely for now, and we're going to query this the same way that we query name here. I don't love it. We're probably going to come back and visit this. I don't like that we're not processing this as JSON. Instead, we're just getting it from the request like a form. But we need to move on, so we're going to, let's see, we're going to create a function here called serialize budget. Looks like we haven't closed something up here, maybe. Serialize budget. Oh, no, we need to call this private function. Serialize budget, and that's going to do, it's going to return that. And actually, we'll take that bit too. We're going to return this serialize budget, And we're going to do the same thing in our new method here. Serialize budget. Let's see. Let's see how that works now. We got a 200, I mean, which is better than we were used to, right? Didn't create the budget, which I think we need to reset. I think this needs to be form. I think we kind of mangled this a bit. I think Chrome is having problems right now too, maybe. Unhandled projection. We are having problems here, guys. This is get budgets. Returning a 500. Insert into budget name values. Don't know why that's happening. Let's try refreshing this first. Then did we accidentally type something here that we shouldn't have? No, I don't think so. So this is returning a 500, huh? Don't know why. That was it, right? Port 88, 8000. Yeah. Oh, look. Looks like unexpected closing brace on line 291 of the budget controller. So we'll go to line 291. Yeah. Forgot to put our semicolon there, guys. Rookie mistake. Budget says it created. Hey, we got a response body back, so that's good. In our serialize, we also want to include the name now. And probably need the ID. I don't know how we got away so long without having the ID here. But let's see if we can't. So we're now able to save our budget. I'm pretty sure. Let's look in the database real quick. Yep, there's our budget name, Bob. And now we can we don't need this, I'm pretty sure. Once we create our budget, we need to go and submit load budget. We need to set I need to create a method that sets the new budget ID. And we'll do that here. So I think this was error and then body. No. It should be response and then body. We'll console log everything just in case. But I think we're going to want to set the active budget ID to think it's going to be body at ID. I think, I mean, we'll see in a second here, but like the response from that, from adding the budget, has an ID in it, so I'm pretty sure that's what we need. Let's take a look now. Let's see what we can do. Oh, and then after we do that, we want to load, submit load budget. What does this get used for? It doesn't get used. Set active budget ID. So right now, when we change the budget name, let's see, when we select change active budget ID, this set active budget ID, I think this might just do it for us. We'll see. I think we're also going to need to select this value, maybe this state budget ID. Well, maybe that needs to be active budget ID. Alright, we're going to see what happens here. We're going to create a new budget called Nate. It did create a new budget here, but our select, I think for our budget options, instead of showing we need to refactor this options to have a name. So the key is going to be the budget ID. The value is going to be the budget ID, but the name of the budget is going to be budget.name, and we need to refactor our endpoint. And this is, instead of budget IDs, we're going to call it budgets. And we're going to go into our backend and get budgets. Instead of just returning budget IDs, we're going to return ID and name. And let's see if we can, if our budgets show up by name now. They do. They're all named Bob, unfortunately. All the budgets are named Bob, and that is because we're not passing in the new budget name. Don't need these fields. Let's format this because we kind of made it gross while we were fumbling around trying to get this to work. So now we create a budget called Nate's budget, and still called Bob. Oh, well, let's see. It's not working, is it? No request body, it says. So it's not getting this new budget name. So you would think that new budget name is not set there. Oh, that that's because I did that wrong. Okay, anyways, but after we submit a new budget name, we need to reload those budget IDs. So we're gonna create a function called reload all budgets that does this. Oops. And component mount is just gonna call reload all budgets. So that way when the component mounts, it reloads all budgets, and now we can use this reload all budgets after we create one. So we're gonna reload all budgets. Let's see how that does us. It's probably going to be a little out of sync. So we sent a post body. It did create a budget with our name now, and it did reload, but it didn't set the active budget ID to Nate at the right time. So that all worked. It did reload budget. But I think what we need to do is we need to return this, and when we call it here, we want to reload all budgets, and then only then do we want to set the active budget, maybe. Maybe we need to selected equals option state equals options.value. Makes this even easier for you. Instead of defining selected on each option, you can and should simply write value equals option state on the select tag itself. Okay, well that makes sense. Seems to be easier. So we will go, oh, interesting. So how about that? This was from 2014 though. Let's change our date range here to only look for things in the last. Value should be this prompt's value. On change, this handle change. No. This state active budget ID. I'm gonna just put this here for now, so that we can see what the active budget ID is. Nothing, huh? So if we add that, we can see 11, and then nothing here. So that seems to be why. It seems like our, is it that our body doesn't have an ID here? Let's see what set active budget ID is. Yeah. Let's put a debugger here. It looks like the active budget ID is not being set. I don't know why yet. Looks like, let's see what body is here. So body Do we need to? We need to parse body. And then, will that work? JSON.parse body. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. I really wish it would parse this JSON for us. Let's see. So we change the state here, and there's our active budget ID. Create a new budget. And it did change for us that time. So cool. So let's go to Nate. Let's pause our debugger here so we don't get interrupted. Really new, let's go to one that actually has something, which is going to be number 6. Really new budget. Create, and it sets us to this new budget. Check that out. How cool is that? So it looks like everything is good to go. Let's go ahead and get rid of this debugging code we put there. Create a new budget. I don't like having the line break there. If I guess it's gonna stay there though. But we need another line break or something here. Yeah, that didn't work, did it? There we go, that's better. So now we could select a budget, or we could create a new budget and start adding some income streams. Income number 1, $1,000, twice a month, create. And there it is. So we could go to really new budget to just clear out things and then go back to our new budget, and the value is there. So we can create budgets, we can add income streams, we can add expenses. This has been a really long video, so I'm going to go ahead and push all this code up to GitHub offline. We now have a fully functioning budget management app where users can go in and create their own budgets and even add income streams, add expenses, and it'll total everything up for them. We have a sick deploy pipeline, super cheap, monthly costs, highly reliable. So next, I don't know if we're going to keep working on the budget. We might leave the budget where it is for now and start adding more features to our personal finance app, or we might wrap up this series, we'll see, and start a new project using the some of the bits that we've made while building this project. I could definitely use your guys' feedback. Are you guys liking this? Are some of these feature videos too long and drawn on? Do you like seeing the nitty-gritty of programming these features? We spent a lot of time debugging why budgets weren't being created. I don't like, I think we need to get a debugger running for our Symfony app, definitely. If we had Xdebug and we were able to step through things, that probably would have saved us there. But also Chrome's not showing us the post bodies of what we're sending up for some reason. I don't know if I need to update Chrome, so that's weird. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe, give some feedback, love if you feel like it. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time.